There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, what's up and welcome into episode number 127 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Ryan Tyson, Mark Hall, Matt Gant, Patrick Kurtzberger. Today is Friday, June 21st, right? June 21st. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Trying to follow us on all of our social media at Program Guys with a Z on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Be Real, all of that good stuff. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of that good stuff. Gentlemen, how are we doing? The Boston Celtics are your 2024 NBA champions. Thank you. Thank you.
You, baby.
You want
yeah,
to just take the
me.
next 20 minutes and
I don't need 20.
Talk about it.
I don't need 20. Because when you're the number one seed, you're a certain thing is expected of you, and that's to roll through the playoffs and not roll over to a lower seed. Some people wouldn't know what that's like, but my team does. My team knows how to finish. No one even stood a chance the entire time. It's good stuff, man. Just happy for the Boston Celtics. It's really cool. Banner 18.
They didn't have enough already. So
they didn't. They did not. But yeah, super cool. We'll talk some NBA later in the show because the Lakers just hired a head coach reportedly. It's not official, but reportedly. And trade for the Thunder as well. So stuff to talk about there. But how we living right now besides that, boys? Pat, we're deep into Euros.
Deep into Euros. It's been fantastic to have soccer on all day, especially because, sports were over, but not if you're a soccer fan. So
Copa America about to start up too. USA starts on Sunday, I believe.
I think
so that'll be
Olympics are coming.
Olympics
like
are
a month.
Yep.
I've been having the swimming trials, and it's just fun to see how much better Katie would.
Yeah, I was about to say she's smoking everybody, didn't she?
Yeah,
it's just crazy. But yeah, it's a good time. Good time. And we got some OU news to get to. Mark, how you doing right now? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. It's a good week. Celebrated Juneteenth yesterday. It coincides with my wife's birthday.
Amazing.
And so I don't have any reason at all not to put on a great day.
Exactly.
We had a great time. We did have a good day and excited to talk ball.
Happy belated birthday, Mrs. Hall. Matt Gann, before we move on. You
Feeling
good?
great, living better. Like I always say, like I always used to say, I don't even know, another week, another dollar. There it is.
How long has it been since you've said that?
I have made now $7 since I've last said that, so I think that's pretty good.
I made $7. I love you so much. All right. Some OU football news to get to. We got some commits to go over real quick on the recruiting train. And before we get to these commits, I just want to start off by saying we were texting about this earlier in the day, just kind of how the rankings work and how there's different rankings for different sites. And as of now, as it stands for the 2025 class, OU is top 10 and on threes ranking. I didn't look to see Rivals in 247, but number 10. Yeah, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. You got it?
Yep. So I did do a little bit of that research. So yeah, On Three has us at 10, right? And I did this in light of the Marcus Harris commitment, 4-star out of Mater Dei. Is that right?
Yeah, that's
Saturday.
4-star out of Mater Dei. About 6 foot, 185. I've got his highlights going right now. Fast, good at the break point. Just gets open quickly because he beats the guys off the ball very quickly. But On Three, top 10. On Three has us at 10. 247 has us at 8. Rivals has us at 5. Now the weird thing is, On Three and 247 have us basically, the order is just about the same. There's some guys that flip here and there, but with both of those, you got both of those receivers within the top 5 of our recruiting class now that we've added Marcus Harris to the mix, along with 4-star Elijah Thomas. Rivals on their own over here has Marcus Harris as the number 1 player in the class now that he's committed. So I don't know how all of that works, but it really does show the disparity that you're talking about there between the three.
and we kind of discussed this earlier, Ryan. Tell me if you agree. I feel as though like some of these recruiting sites try to be different just for the sake of being different, maybe, unless there's like a consensus number one overall guy who like everybody agrees on. But I feel like a lot of these sites just try to be different, so they look different.
I mean, if you want to take a cynical hat to it, which I often like to do, they
You
want to be different because they want views. They want more people attracted to their website. They want more, people coming to them for expertise and things along those lines. No one really knows. Like, this is all just like this is just out there. People are just saying what they think, right? And we are saying that these experts maybe know better than these experts. But at the end of the day, no one really knows. It sounds to me like, a consensus of the three. It sounds like we're kind of in the same realm. But yeah, a difference of 10 and 5, that's pretty significant. So it's like, I don't know. We're still early also. A lot of things change, as we saw this past week with a certain school in Southern California.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I mean, the 5 seems right though. So I'm gonna go with the 5. I like that.
Are you saying
It
it's the
seems to be
5?
the highest.
This is
Hold
what I'm
on,
talking
hold
about.
on,
This is
hold on.
exactly what I'm talking about. Patrick is the person that I'm
Oh,
talking
Patrick's the
about.
target audience, 100%.
He's the targeted
Patrick.
audience.
That was rivals,
Patrick.
right? That was 5.
We're gonna
Doesn't
yeah,
even
that
know.
was
He doesn't
rivals.
even-
Patrick. So let's take the guy we're talking about, Marcus Harris, off the table. Let's take
Yeah.
Kevin Sperry off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like 3 class of 25 guys in your head? Like that you can
If you
name?
said their names, I would know 'em.
There it is. Yeah, no,
Which
that's
is
great.
like true.
I
I
love
just don't
you.
have
Yeah,
them
yeah,
off the
yeah,
top
yeah.
of my head.
That's good
I-
fandom. That's
yeah.
good fandom. You know these guys sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree, Pat. I mean,
But
I'm
why
to the
does
point.
5 feel right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's
Well,
the
it just
highest.
feels right.
This
It
is
feels
what I'm
better than
talking
10.
about.
It feels more right than 10.
5 feels right because it's the highest. Matt,
No one
right?
knows.
My thoughts. I think this class is yet to have a 5-star. Is that correct, Mark? We
It
have a
is
bunch
correct.
of-
We're still
correct.
searching.
So, I mean, if we're already top 10 and on,
we did that segment a couple weeks ago too.
right. But if we get we only have one 5-star recruit, and we still have a potential top 10 class, or at least it's heading in that direction. Be really interesting to see who's going to be that centerpiece. There's always that 5-star as the centerpiece, but OU has done it without it so far, which has been pretty incredible recruiting. To Marcus Harris's point, he actually had some official visits after this past weekend that, man, Emmett Jones locked him up even before that could happen. So Emmett Jones continues to be hot on the recruiting trail. And there's another guy we'll talk about a little bit later on, but man, he just, when he gets these guys in Norman, he does not let go. And I would love to sit in a room with him. Mason, what was you're saying every time you're selling ketchup to an Eskimo with white gloves? I mean,
No,
That's
he can sell a
I mean-
ketchup popsicle to a woman wearing white gloves. Pretty close though.
There it
you were
is.
pretty close.
Yeah,
I
close.
like the Eskimo kind of thrown in there.
Yeah.
It's definitely mixing something
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure. But you get what I mean. I mean,
Yes,
this guy,
I get it.
whatever he's preaching, whatever
I
he's
get
selling,
it.
he is making it work because this was a highly recruited player. He's one of the top players in California. I think 25 or 21st overall in the wide receiver class. I mean, this guy's a beast. Other than his speed, I was also watching some clips. He just makes some really good contested catches in traffic. I mean, that's the kind of guy that you want with good hands and good speed. So this is a great grab by Emmett Jones in this class. But again, 4 stars mainly throughout this entire 2025 class. When are we going to get that 5-star to drop? That's what I'm really looking for. And who's that going to be?
Yep. And
Well,
you
now,
talk,
now 3 of those guys in that class are from the receiver room. To speak to the
Mhm.
Emmett Jones thing, you throw Grayson Harris in there from Ennis, Texas, and Emmett Jones is earning every dollar of his paycheck, man.
oh, he is completely. Absolutely.
One last Marcus Harris point. He dropped a top 5 in April that did not include Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Takes an official visit to Oklahoma June 14th and is committed June 17th. That's work, man.
That's hard.
That's
it just
work. That's hard.
it goes to show that like these top 5s that they throw out and stuff, it really I think speaks more to the school saying like, hey, pay more attention to me. Like it's like these are the 5 who are paying me the most attention that I'm throwing a bone to number 4 and 5 and really these three are the only ones who are really in the race. Hey, OU or whoever else, pay me some more attention and you can be here. So that's interesting to me how the recruiting game seems to always kind of shake out, because we've seen before that these commitments don't really mean anything either. So it's just interesting.
Nothing's for sure until it's signed.
Agreed. Nothing for sure. Other commitment that we need to go over, Ryder Mix, 4-star tight end, 6'4", 225 from Frisco, chose OU over Texas A&M and Ohio State. Really like that. The tight end room looking better and better with each passing year. Or I mean, if this Ryder kid makes it to Norman, I feel like they continue to add good quality pieces in that room, and I like the direction it's heading. Because if this offense can utilize a tight end, something we haven't seen in a long time, and by long time, it's Mark Andrews, but that feels like a long time. You think about it, 2017,
Rose
2018,
Bowl, baby.
yeah,
Just want to
Morris.
clarify real quick. Ryder Mix is in the class of 2026.
2026.
Yeah, didn't he say that?
I don't even know if I said
25.
I don't even know if I
think he
said
a
year.
year.
26.
I said
He's
225.
2026.
I said 225, but I
Okay.
don't
Yeah,
even
you didn't
remember if I
mention a
said the
year,
class.
so I just wanted to
Thank
mention
you.
a year.
Yes, correct.
That's all.
Yeah,
Yep.
good call, Pat.
Class of 2026, 6'4", 220, like you said, only had 13 catches last year. It's so funny to me that we offer guys like that, but that's what it is, man. You tear up a camp, you tear up a circuit, whatever it is, and you get noticed, you get offers like that. To put into perspective again, the disparity in the recruiting companies. He's the 22nd tight end in the country at 247. He's the 12th tight end in the country at On3, and he's the 17th tight end in the country at Rivals. When you think about it, that makes a lot of sense. Like, these are a lot of kids that these evaluators are watching, and kids got 13 catches. What can you do with that? So I imagine you're going to see a lot of disparity in evaluations there. The thing that's interesting to me is there's no tight end in the 2025 class because we missed out on Nate Roberts going to Ohio State instead of staying home and going to Oklahoma. And Devon Mitchell is in the 24 class. I think that's why you saw us go out and get a Power Sharp, and we've got a couple stash guys on the roster at tight end because there's no one in the 25 class, and I don't think we're going to. All the attention was paid to Roberts.
Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, watching some highlights of when he was on the fields. Really good blocking tight end and almost lined up everywhere. He lined up in the wide receiver, lined up in the slot, lined up in the backfield on the line. Just watching a lot of highlights. Very versatile. Good to see that we can possibly run him and Devon Mitchell, two big bodies. And like I talked about, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, maybe some two tight end personnel. Very athletic, again, from what I'm seeing so far in the brief tape that I've watched. So good piece to add for 2026 is tight ends is a very, I would say, commodity that you just don't see a lot of high quality, especially in college football. I don't think, at least from my aspect, usually running backs, wide receivers that you think of when you talk about the skill position. Tight end is almost a
Or
lost
basketball
art.
players that you bring in.
Sure. But I do like the tight end room. It definitely has gotten a lot better. So it's good to see to add just another guy in the mix.
Anybody else? No? Okay, perfect. Let us know down below in the comments, the two commitments, your thoughts on those. We got some crystal balls to drop, or not even drop. They've been dropped for us. Mark's not dropping balls today. He's not prepared. Not
No
prepared to
balls
drop
dropped?
some balls. But I'm gonna rattle
Yeah.
through. I'm gonna rattle through these three, okay, and then we can discuss it after the fact. 4-star 2026 quarterback Jaden O'Neal, 6'3", 200, from Harbor City, California. 4-star 2025 wide receiver Cortez Mills, 6'1", 177 from Homestead, Florida, and 4-star 2025 defensive lineman Cade Petrezak.
I mean, that's close.
I think Petrezak.
He's track.
Sure.
I don't know.
6'5", 240 from West Fargo, North Dakota. Corn-fed. That's
Love
another
that guy.
guy. So three
Love that guy.
three guys. Just looking at this for me, Cortez Mills kind of pops out to you right there. Parker Thune is the one who dropped that crystal ball for him. 6'1", 177. I like that size, especially in high school, because he is probably going to grow 1 more inch, and then you can put some weight on, and that'd be a good size dude. I'd be very happy with that in my wide receiver room.
I think
Yep.
the obvious one is zeroing in on a 2026 quarterback in Jaden O'Neal, 6'3", 200, almost at 220. He's a big guy though, and he's going to continue to get bigger. And it's nice to see them finding a guy. I haven't watched any Jaden O'Neal tape. He's a class of 2026 quarterback, but it's good to see them zero in on a guy and make him the focus, because that's what you only build from there. And he's a highly recruited player. He's got offers all over the place, so that's interesting to see too. And we've got James Jackson down as the crystal ball dropper here, but there have been several in there for Jaden O'Neal. So it seems like the coaching staff really has targeted him for their efforts.
Yeah, and I think there's been several for Cortez Mills as well. Just, going back to Emmett Jones, we're not going to be able to keep this guy for very long. We have to get ready. Someone's going to snatch him up for an offensive coordinator position. It's going to happen pretty soon, I think. He's wonderful. He's like the ability to him to recruit at this level, with an already stacked wide receiver room, and yet we keep bringing in guys. It's just really impressive. And, I think Cortez Mills was around at the same visit that Marcus Harris was, I believe. So I think like if they were able to close on Marcus Harris that quickly and Cortez was in the same, visit, we're looking at, another pull hopefully for Emmett Jones. So I just think we have to prepare ourselves for him leaving, even though we did give him a raise this year.
Matt?
My biggest thing here is Jaden O'Neal. He's got a lot of the crystal balls, and he's 6'3", 200 in the class of 2026. That size is incredible. We haven't seen a tall, physical quarterback at OU starting. Like you can say Jackson Arnold's tall. He's 6'1", though. I'm talking like this guy could be 6'5", 230 starting for OU in 3-4 years from now, and that'd be sick. I would love that.
Is that
Matt,
because
I
you're
agree with
tall?
No, I
And
we
you
haven't
just
had it.
feel
I
other
want a really
people?
tall guy you can see over the O-line and D-line.
What, Blake
Like,
Bell?
And
Trevor
that
Knight's
wouldn't be an
kinda tall.
issue. Like, we're not throwing the ball over the offensive line often enough.
How tall was
You're
Sam
wanting
Bradford? Like six-
a Brady Peyton Manning-esque type of tall, like pocket
yes.
presence is kind of what
Yes.
you're thinking.
All Drake
Yes.
Stoops does
Sam
is run
Bradford was
crossers.
6'4". Sam Bradford was 6'4". I did not know
Exactly.
Blake Bell is like
Yeah.
6'5".
Won the Heisman.
Mhm.
Been
Blake
much
Bell,
more
yeah,
recent.
Blake Bell
Landry
is
Jones
like,
I'm
was
saying,
tall.
like, we haven't had any
6'6".
and Trevor Knight
Mhm.
since 2014. So it's been 10 years, guys. That's a
Yeah, I
long
mean,
time.
you
And we've
rattle-
had an unprecedented 10 years of success at the
Yeah,
quarterback
you-
position.
you-
And
Baker,
Patrick-
Kyler,
yeah, they weren't
Kyler,
tall
I-
enough.
They weren't tall.
But I get what you're saying. Yeah, you rattle them off. Baker, Kyler, Spencer,
Trevor Knight
Caleb,
was 6'1".
Yeah.
like
Jalen.
Jalen. I mean, they aren't
They're small.
massive. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it.
But that was the offense they were
Dylan,
playing in
it
too.
wasn't tall either. So I get kind of where you're coming from.
We've been
That's
too
college
frustrated
football
about
changing. You need that player to be able to do more. And
Jaden
it's
will
hard
be
to
able
find
to
a
do
tall
more.
guy that can do more.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, great points, Mark. Great
Yeah,
points.
it's
Great
good
points by
points, Mark.
Patrick. I'll do a
Thank
couple
you.
quick hits
I
on
hate
each
you.
guys.
Give me some quick hits,
Also,
Matt.
Yeah, quick hit. Cortell Mills is between us and Clemson. Looks like it's leaning towards Clemson, so that's always a fun battle between BV and his former
Unbelievable.
school. Jaden
Except
O'Neal,
Cortell.
just watching some tape, he is one of the better pure throwers in the 26 class. Likes to stay in the pocket. Doesn't really escape too well. So again, he's got some raw talent, only being a 2026 class. So that's something that he can improve on is his escapability. But man, I'm watching this tape and he can throw the ball down the field with a lot of accuracy, and he likes to throw them deep. I mean, I just watched like 4 straight minutes of him just throwing it deep. So good to see, because quarterback is always going to be the one thing you always have to have, especially in SEC play. You got to have a guy that can throw it over the top of defenses. This is a guy I would love to see in the quarterback room coming into 2026. That would be an unbelievable get. It looks like it's leaning that direction. No one's talked about K, but he is the number 1 D lineman in North Dakota, if you can believe it. Big guy, 6'4".
He's the Wyatt Gilmore this year, baby.
That's right. Definitely could be. Maybe. Let's maybe temper our expectations, but definitely leaning
For
towards
what? Wyatt Gilmore hasn't played a down.
And
Yeah.
looks like it was between
Temper.
us, Kansas State, Nebraska, and Wisconsin. So definitely some good schools in the mix, especially when you
Out of
come
that corn-fed
play.
schools.
Yeah, you love beating out the white schools for a white guy.
Pretty sick.
You know?
It's pretty great. Yeah. You beating Iowa and Northwestern and Wisconsin, Nebraska. Nebraska is
Corn-fed boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so K visited on the 7th, and he went to Nebraska and Kansas State afterwards. Before that, he was in Wisconsin and in Florida. So definitely been to some pretty good schools and making his rounds so far from what I can see. UCLA, Missouri. I mean, definitely some good schools that have been offering him. So could be another good get for Miguel Chavis and Todd Bates as they continue to load up on the defensive line year in and year out. So good to see they continue to go after some of these guys, even in different states.
Absolutely. We're going to move on to some Kevin Sperry news. Elite 11 was this week, not even this past week. It was this week, just a couple days ago. Day 1 rankings saw Kevin Sperry. There's 11 quarterbacks there. Saw Kevin Sperry ranked 10th. Elite 11 released their day 2 rankings on Thursday, and Kevin Sperry moved up 1 spot to number 9. So Kevin Sperry ends Elite 11 at number 9. Number 1 was Tavian St. Clair. Believe he's an Ohio State commit.
Not Florida.
I don't know.
I thought it was Bama.
We're all over the place.
Hold on.
Yeah, they have a day 3 for this.
Ohio
'Cause
State.
I saw
believe.
that
Yeah,
Bama's
Ohio
guy
State.
was the day 2 MVP.
Yeah, I think
But
that's
there's a
what I
day
saw.
3
Mark.
happening.
So
That's too much, man.
So the 2024 Elite 11 MVP, so they're finished, is Keelan Russell.
Yeah.
That's K-Dot is what they call him. So he was the second ranked in the day 2 rankings behind Tavian St. Clair, but he was the MVP. So I don't really.
Wait, so
know
he
what
went
it
to
means, like,
so he went to Duncanville, Alabama.
okay.
Like
Yeah,
I guess
he's
he hasn't.
committed to Alabama.
He's committed to Alabama.
So
Got it,
here's
okay.
here's my thing with this. I think that we as Oklahoma fans can't give Jackson Arnold the praise that he got for winning that Elite 11 thing. And essentially that's what turned him into a 5-star, and then turn around and be like, oh, well, this doesn't really matter. I mean,
Agreed.
in the grand scheme of things, it may not matter, but it also kind of tells me that these people whose job it is to evaluate the quarterback position see this guy as the 9th best quarterback in the class, which is still really good.
Yeah, I'll take that.
To say
I'm
he
not worried
won't-
about it.
That's not to say he won't develop anymore, but I'm just saying, before I hear Oklahoma fans say, oh, what does this even matter? Well, we were all pretty happy when Jackson Arnold won the whole thing. So like, we can't say this thing is a crock of shit. Like it matters a little bit, right?
Yeah, and let's look at the positives here. He went from 10th to 9th. He made improvements. He beat somebody out. Love that, right? I mean, look at it.
Yeah, no, I agree, Pat.
Yeah.
It's a good way to look at
Yeah,
it.
I think on day 2 he's like 10 of 21 for 2 touchdowns or something like that. Listen,
Yeah,
I don't
in
even
all
know how
seriousness,
the I
in
don't know
all-
how the camp works, but I'd rather have my QB even playing against the top rated other QBs versus not being there at all. So I'm not worried about it. I mean, you would love to see it a little bit higher. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just glad he's there in the first place.
Yeah. And I, in all seriousness, I saw a lot of his deep balls. Like, they're really into his deep balls, and they look really nice. So I'm happy with that.
You like the deep balls, huh, Pat?
No, it's just
Mhm.
no,
yeah,
like,
language there was
Hype
real
videos.
nice
That in a way
phrasing.
would be really great.
he has the best
Phrasing.
deep ball out of any of these
I'm
guys.
really into his deep balls. That's basically the
Yeah,
clip
I didn't mean
right
like that at all.
Could also clip Ryan now. Yeah, I actually back in when he committed, I watched a good bit of Kevin Sperry tape, and he can throw on the run. He's very accurate throwing deep. He reminds me of like a supercharged Zach Wilson. And
Love that.
like the fact of the matter is that guy can be very effective, but that guy's also probably not going to be the top 10 quarterback prospect that OU is accustomed to receiving. Like maybe he is the number 10 guy, the number 9 guy in the class. And sometimes that guy turns out to be the best player.
Mhm.
He just isn't. Like, you look at the traits, there's no way you would come away saying Kevin Sperry is the best prospect.
Yeah,
Here's my take: if we have the best defense in the SEC, we don't need the best quarterback. Will we still like the best quarterback?
fair
Big
point.
if.
but
Big if.
Mhm.
if there's an if there, if we
I
can
think-
get there,
I think even if you have a top 5 defense in the SEC, I don't think you need the best quarterback.
Yeah, look at
Like,
Stetson
well, the
Bennett.
problem is
I-
the people who have the. I mean, like if you look at like Alabama
Stetson
and
Bennett
stuff
was
like
in
that,
New
they
York.
usually have the top 5
what I'm
and the best
saying.
For the
quarterback.
Heisman.
That's what I'm
Mhm.
saying.
I understand where you're coming from, but
It's
I mean,
good.
like, so recently Alabama's not a very good example, just because they rattled off Mac Jones and Tua and Jalen Hurts, Bryce Young. They rattled them off, but like kind of before that, I mean, what you're riding AJ McCarron, you're like,
I mean, he was
he
a Heisman finalist, right?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, what did he do after? Right? Like he was a game manager for Alabama. That wasn't a dude.
Yeah, I mean,
wasn't-
but that's
that
like
wasn't
the
a dude
Stetson
winning them
Bennett's, that's
games.
like, yeah, I mean,
Dutiful backup for the Atlanta Falcons. Thank you very much.
You're right. Agreed.
Led the XFL in passing one season.
Greg McElroy.
Currently stinking it up as an analyst for
he's
ESPN.
so
I
bad.
cannot stand when he's on a game.
He's bad. A combo for another time, but man, ESPN's fallen off. Man,
Yeah, it's
combo
struggling.
for another time. But I get where you're coming from, Ryan. I think if you're right, if the defense can be as good as we expect Brent Venables' defense to be, then yeah, I mean, do you need your quarterback to be the best in the SEC? No, you don't. You need him to be, AJ McCarron. You need him to be good enough to win you games,
Stetson Bennett.
and that's about it. Mark, you
saying.
disagree?
Well, no, someone. So I'm Googling something, and I just want to make sure we're right about this, because as like,
We might
okay,
lose someone if we're not.
20,
What'd you say?
2023 Michigan wins. They've got a first round pick at quarterback in JJ McCarthy. 21, 22 are Georgia years. Stetson Bennett, he goes to New York. Whatever you want to think and joke about Stetson Bennett, that dude was effective for the Georgia Bulldogs.
He was.
Mhm.
Alabama the year before that, Bryce Young wins the Heisman. LSU the year before that, Joe Burrow wins the Heisman. Clemson, that's a 2018 is Trevor Lawrence, number 1 pick. Alabama before that, Tua Tagovailoa, Mason, bada bing, that's your guy. First round pick. Clemson, Deshaun Watson, 2016. Or no, that's probably another Trevor Lawrence year, right? The number 1 pick. I mean,
Yeah.
you go back 10 years, all of these guys have first round picks at quarterback. I think literally until Ohio State in 2014, who did not, right? Because Ohio State in 2014 is playing Cardale Jones. But
And I still think you
to
can be
some
a first
degree,
round
winning the
quarterback
thing, yes, I agree with
without
that
being
too.
the best.
Yeah, but I think we were underselling it earlier, is all.
Totally.
Okay. Matt Gann, hop in there.
I'm not even sure where we're at or where we're even talking about at this point. To be honest
We're talking
with you.
about Kevin. We're
No,
talking about Kevin
I
Sperry.
don't know. With 2 years,
you
we
need a
can be
great
successful without the most talented quarterback. A team can be successful without the most talented quarterback. Team can win the national championship.
Yeah, I mean,
JJ
defense-
McCarthy was not the most talented quarterback this past year.
No,
No.
but they had a good running game and a solid defense that led them
There's-
the way.
There's
So,
also
it's college football.
just a ton to be said about how important it is to develop a quarterback when he's in your system. That cannot be unnoticed. Like, it is huge. Like, look at Spencer Rattler when he got to OU. He was the number one highly touted quarterback, and then you could say whatever you want. I'm going to say he didn't really change his entire high school career. He was kind of, or his college career, he was kind of the same dude. He didn't really live up to the expectation. That's because he didn't develop while he was in college. You can credit that to his coaches or credit that to him. I don't care who you do, but it happened. So guys like Baker Mayfield, who are, walk-ons, unsigned, but use the Lincoln Riley catapult to develop into a quarterback and turn into a number one overall prospect. So that's the kind of thing that yeah, you may not come in as the number one, but you're a top 10. And if you improve and continue to grow, sky's the limit. So I think it's on the quarterback, but it's also on the system that he's involved in to grow and to learn and become a better quarterback as well. That's a main piece of the machine.
A better thing to check would be like who made the college football playoff and what would those quarterback situations look like, right?
Sure. I think that's fair.
Expanding it a bit.
Mm-hmm. Let us know down below in the comments what you think of this conversation.
Kevin Sperry.
Yeah, of Kevin Sperry. Kevin Sperry.
Good.
Kevin Sperry. Good people. Hopefully
I got another OU football topic if we want to keep talking OU football.
Yeah, go ahead,
before
man.
We get to Curtis Lofton. I don't know if you guys saw, I don't think we've talked about this, but the stat lines came out recently for the SEC games, and OU is not favored only but one.
You mean the
It's
betting lines?
Betting lines, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Does that surprise?
stat
And
lines.
OU Texas were 8-point underdogs.
You said OU's not what?
They're not favored in any of the SEC games except for the home opener against Tennessee, where we're 2-point favorites. Other than that,
We're
Shots
not
fired,
favored against South Carolina.
not from what I can see, or at least the main.
Not even
games.
Missouri.
South Carolina, we're at home. South Carolina has nobody. How are we not
I
favored in
will-
that game?
Hammer.
Maybe we weren't favored against Tennessee and we're favored against South Carolina. I thought
I'm
it was
seeing
2
this-
games,
I'm
Minus
seeing
their
this
but-
losses, big guy.
I'm seeing this article from June 17th, which was 3 days
What's
ago.
the line on that South
Recent.
Carolina game? Sorry, I'm just
It
fast.
doesn't.
Now I'm curious.
It's only doing Tennessee, Texas, Ole Miss, Missouri, Alabama, LSU. I'm not sure why they didn't include
Oh.
South Carolina for some reason.
Maybe the line
would've
isn't
been a
out yet
worse
or
article, I
something.
guess.
Who knows?
Yeah, maybe the line hasn't come out, but yeah, only 2-point favorites against Tennessee. We're 8-point underdogs to Texas, underdogs by 5 points to Ole Miss. I think it's 2 to Missouri. I think 2 or 3 to Alabama, and then obviously LSU. I think is favored by God knows what. I'm not.
Patrick's face
5
when you
points.
said Missouri by 2. It's just
Yeah, so
Not a
any
real football
surprises
team.
there? I mean, dude, 8-point underdogs to Texas on a neutral
That's-
field.
Yeah, I think
That
you hit
is,
that.
that's
that
not weird
is-
though. Like I expected that.
No, that's nuts.
I think that
Uh,
line.
they
moves
are
to, I think that line
8
moves
more
to
than a
better.
touchdown?
They're all about
That is
Texas
nuts.
all the time, every year.
Well, it's
Like,
one thing to be
it's
favored, but
fine.
by more than a touchdown, that is
That
nuts.
game
Yeah, that-
literally does. A line does not matter in that game ever, like never,
Numbers.
because it's just up in the air every year.
I think that number's quite large. Mark, as our resident expert, what do
Yeah,
you?
Mark, what's your expertise?
If the number doesn't matter, there are countless ways to make money on an outcome that has like an OU plus 8.5, right? I think putting it at 8.5 is a very aggressive place for that line to be, but same time, it hasn't really moved off of that, right? We haven't seen movement really push it any direction or another. I think that the market is counting on improvement from Quinn Ewers and is unsure about who Jackson Arnold is. Oklahoma
good point.
brings in 2 new coordinators. I think that they're counting on Texas's infrastructure a little bit more than they're counting on Oklahoma's, even though we were able to internally replace these guys and sort of just keep the continuity going. Texas has a different thing going. They didn't lose an OC, they didn't lose a DC, and they lost every receiver, but I guess that doesn't seem to matter.
Mark, one more
I think that
question
line
for
goes
you.
to 3.5.
Mark, what about the Alabama coming into Norman being 2-point favorites.
It's
that-
interesting to me that they're so high on Kalen DeBoer as the head coach
Very
already.
high. Very high.
Um,
It's a still
this-
still a great hire, but man, coming into Norman as 2, you think that would lead at least OU at least by a 1.5 or something like that.
That's what I would think, right? At least by a point and a half. I'm surprised by that line as well. I'll be very interested to see how these things move throughout the season because obviously we're all a little bit biased, but I think Oklahoma is better than what this is showing. And
Mhm.
what it's showing right now is Vegas doesn't think we're gonna. I mean, I don't think they've got it. I don't think it's lined up such that we can even like we're right on the edge of the over under of 7.5 that's been set. So I don't know, man.
It's gonna be crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
This season is going to rock our worlds, I think.
I think so too. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I hope we stay underdogs in a lot of games. I hope they keep that mentality because that's a mentality that helps teams grow. Not being favored in every game and going out there and laying an egg and against Kansas. Like it'll help your psyche to go in there and be like, hey, nobody thinks that we got a shot in this game. Like nobody thinks we got a shot to beat Alabama on our home field. What? Like that, I feel like that can be a benefit. Now, should they be favored? I mean, in my opinion, probably. I think Alabama should be favored. So that one doesn't irk me as much as like the Missouri one does. I think that's kind of wild. I just think people are super high on Missouri and it doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but I don't know. It's also June. So what do I know? Anybody else? Anything to add? Curtis Lofton. Curtis Lofton got a promotion, boys. I'm going to read this. This is from a written piece from Sooners Illustrated. Going to read this real quick. This is by Tom Green. Want to give him credit. Curtis Lofton, currently the director of the Sooners Soul Mission, is set to officially add the title of general manager for OU's football team, according to the agenda released for the Board of Regents, which is set for Friday in Ardmore. Lofton has been fulfilling duties related to the general manager position for months, but the promotion will be official once approved. With the title, Lofton will also receive a significant raise. Lofton's annual salary will increase from $300,000 for 12 months, retroactive to April 20th. Lofton previously earned $101,500
Dang.
annually. So Curtis Lofton
God
moving
bless.
on up in the world. Good for Curtis. Happy to see an OU guy. The program investing in their own. That's gotta help for sure.
Isn't it weird that didn't y'all expect the director of the Soul Mission to make more than 101.5? That was the
Okay.
piece of this that had me most thrown.
Really?
Was he only made 101? Like he's Curtis Lofton and he's doing a lot. You see him out there, he's working. He's obviously been, freaking acting in the role of general manager for some capacity for a while, but yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that. I'm glad that he got
He's
his pay
getting
raise.
his
Okay,
dues, baby.
guys,
Yeah.
the New Orleans Saints signed him for a $27 million contract with the $8 million signing bonus. He doesn't need
Oh,
money.
Curtis Lofton was an Atlanta Falcon. All right,
Yeah.
you don't need to tell
Yeah,
me about
he's
his,
fine.
his
No, I know. I'm
achievements.
just saying he's a
rock star.
millionaire, so
It's
I
a
don't think like
passion
his
project
salary
for him.
matters for him.
No, I
Yeah,
mean he
there's
should get
probably
paid.
some-
He should
like,
get
that's a
paid
good
for the
call.
work that he's doing. So I'm glad he's
Right.
getting the raise for like
Yeah.
the general
He
manager
must be
position,
doing- man, he must be
especially
doing
if
a
he's
lot.
been doing like that the entire time.
Well,
Uh,
and they retroactively,
earned.
since April 20th. So basically, they're saying like, "Hey, you've been doing this for
you've been
months,
doing this for
and
months. Yeah.
we're gonna make it right," which is nice. A lot of people don't do that.
No, they
You
don't.
guys are right.
Real
I
world.
don't need to stand up for millionaires.
Right. We're not good. Yeah. His salary doesn't.
No, Pat, you were talking about Pat's heartstrings right there. Pat apologizing for Curtis Lofton.
Oh yeah.
All right, go
Pat
ahead.
has no idea what you're
I
talking
know.
about.
No,
I know.
I mean, I have no idea. But
Don't worry about
if
it.
This
And-
guy, if he can be the director of the Soul Mission, he can be the GM of this team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know what a GM does for a football team?
It's different everywhere, but
For a college
in
football team?
Oklahoma's case, it's going to be like he's going to have more roster retention, scouting responsibilities than than he previously did. I know that. from
Matt
other
Gann?
podcasts.
Oh, were you raising your hand, Matt, or what are you doing? Okay. Do you have anything to add, Matt Gann?
I do
What
not.
are
Really
you
happy
doing
for
with
him.
your hand?
Sometimes I just hope to get $1 a week instead of 200,000 more a year. So good for Curtis and job well done. Much well deserved.
Well done, Curtis.
Yeah.
What a guy.
God, I hate you, Matt. I hate you so much.
Sometimes I just want 5% raise, and this guy's getting 200,000. So by my math, that's way more than 5%.
It is. It is indeed. But you know, what are you going to do? We talked earlier about the recruiting, and we'll just touch on this really quick just because it's funny. OU jumped into the top 10 on the On3 rankings. The reason being
Tell him. Let him know.
USC lost 2 5-star defensive linemen in the span of a few days,
Oh.
and dropped them out of the top 10, moving OU into it. Gentlemen, your thoughts? I think it's hilarious, especially being defensive recruits. That's funny as hell to me. Yeah, it's nice, man. I'm always going to root against him. I don't care.
Same.
I don't care if people want me to move on. I'm not gonna. I hope he loses every battle, every game, all of the time. I really do. And I don't feel bad about it. Am I gonna like hate watch USC like I did the first couple years? No, not anymore. I got other stuff going on, but I'm still gonna root against him. And I hope he loses every recruiting battle. And I hope I do. I just do. I don't like him. I hope life in the Big Ten ruins his life. I really hope it does. And I think it's hysterical that he's running away. Who'd they cancel on?
Ole
on?
Miss.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Oh, cowardly. You're
They
such
said it
a
was.
baby.
They did say it was mutual, but I don't believe that.
yeah.
Bullshit.
I bet.
I don't believe that.
I
after
bet.
after him trying to get out of that LSU game for 2 years, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
God, he's such a coward.
Hey, Lane, I'll
So-
make sure my portal players go to you.
Yeah. Good
I
God.
think I concluded this week that my hate for him is kind of like Texas. It's not as intense as Texas,
Mhm.
but it's just like it's a passive effect that's always there.
Mhm.
I always hate Lincoln Riley and want him to lose every recruiting battle possible the same way I want that for Texas.
Oh, always. I
I
will
think
not
that-
feel bad about it.
The cherry on top is that one of them, Isaiah Gibson, who is most likely going to Georgia because he's from Georgia, but is coming for an official visit to Norman this weekend. That's just fun. You know, you
Okay.
decommit from USC and then the next weekend you come to Oklahoma for an official visit. I love it.
Optics of that are incredible.
It's amazing.
It's great.
It's amazing.
Put it on a billboard down like Santa Monica or something.
So bad.
Dude,
They won't care.
that would
They
go
won't care.
hard.
That's the thing.
No, Patrick's
would
right.
go-
They won't care.
That would go hard. They will. Patrick said they won't care.
They won't
That's really
care.
good. That's
They
funny.
won't care. They've got the Mecca in their backyard. They don't even care.
They got
Right,
the
they
Mecca,
don't- They don't
man.
need it.
They got the Mecca.
So good.
Matt Gann, anything to add?
Piece of shit, coach.
Yeah, I just think of the Michael Jordan meme, the crying meme. That's all I can think of. It's hilarious that in the span of 2 days, losing 2 5-star recruits and OU being the beneficiary of jumping positions. I mean, it's just a well-written movie script if I've ever seen one. I'm looking at their schedule. I mean, their second week going at Michigan. They got to play Penn State. They go to at Washington, and Notre Dame's coming in town for the
I think-
last game of the year in the Coliseum. I mean, they got a lot of tough opponents. And again, I hope they lose every single one of them, including the game when they play Rutgers, which is on a Friday at 8:00. So
I think like that's my personal favorite is that they are going to New Jersey. And when is that? Is that in winter?
Rutgers is coming to them. They're playing in LA.
Oh,
Oh,
dang.
man.
Well,
I
next
would've
year they
loved
got to
for them
go
to
to
go.
Rutgers. They
Next
gotta go
year
to
they'll be playing
Jersey.
Rutgers on a Thursday night.
They have to go to Jersey in the
Piscataway, New
fall.
Jersey,
Ugh.
baby.
Ugh.
Amazing.
They're gonna get like a noon Eastern time kick, which is a 9 a.m. kick in
Oh, I hope they do.
California.
I hope
Oh
they do.
man, I love it so
They
much.
do. So probably the worst trips that they have are Minnesota October 5th or Maryland October 19th. But I actually think those will be nice. USC got
Mhm.
kind of easy on the traveling to the East Coast this year.
Oh, Maryland,
October-
October
for sure.
19th will be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of
Maybe
thinking,
like
right?
fall.
Is that's a good thing.
Yeah. Minnesota in October 2 will be fine.
Really nice.
It'll be,
Mhm.
you know, you may get some 40s if it's a night game, but it won't be low 40s. It'll be like 48 or something like that.
Well, and the big thing is they've got these SC games going on like Friday nights now and Thursday nights throughout the week. And I know we got a Friday night opener, but it's fun when you're seen as less valuable inventory.
I love it. Bum. Absolute bum. You know who's not a bum? Matt Gann. Circle the wagons, Matt. It's time to do it. I need it. Give it to me, brother.
Just a couple quick updates specifically tied to OU softball. Avery Hodges finds a new home. She is transferring to LSU Baton Rouge when she came in place for Alina Torres after Torres took the ball to the face on an in-fly ball. And she stepped in and really made the most of her position playing in the World Series and showing what she's capable of, and probably got a nice little stock increase from that, and obviously getting scouted. So good for her, Avery Hodges, moving on to LSU. But that means there's 5 spots open for Natty Patty to do work. Obviously, a lot of turnover this year. Her senior class moving on, and 6 out of the top 11 recruits coming in for the 2025 class. But 5 open spots for the portal. And one of the major keys, I'm sure Natty Patty's already been calling, is Nigel Kennedy, the pitcher from Stanford, who went 23-7, 337 strikeouts, and had an ERA of 0.73. That was over 230 innings. This girl is an absolute workhorse and definitely the best player in the portal. So you have no doubt that Patty will be trying to go get her ace pitcher. I mean, this is what you need to lean on, not only during the year, but when you get to the World Series, you have to have a starting ace pitcher that you can rely on and know that when she steps in the circle, you have a very, very good probability of winning that game. And that's exactly what you've seen from OU the last few years is these transfer pitchers, aka like Kelly Maxwell, aka like Juarez a few years back, going to the ropes against Florida State. I think she pitched for like 3 days straight at one point. A lot of transfer pitchers that Natty Patty has relied on, and this could be the best one that she could definitely get. So excited to see hopefully some upcoming developments. I haven't seen too much other than her putting her name into the portal itself, but this is an absolute must. I actually think they have to get her because the rotation coming into this year does not have an arm anywhere near years past, and especially with the turnover. So I think this is actually a must get for OU softball. I think there's a high chance that they do it, but you need this type of ace pitcher on your team if you're going to go for 5 straight. What are your guys' thoughts?
I agree. I feel like we gotta get her. I mean, we're talented enough, not just necessarily from that perspective, but she's the number 1 pitcher in the portal. She belongs at Oklahoma.
Do what you got to do. I believe she's from Kansas.
Yeah, she's from Kansas.
You know, you can sort of pitch the closer to home thing.
It's closer.
Yeah, I would. I'd do everything you can.
I just like, where else do you go if you're her is my question, because it's like Stanford got into the College World Series this year. They like were going to stay good with her there, and she was going to get a Stanford education. Like I understand there's a lot more things at play here, but like it doesn't make sense for her to go somewhere where she doesn't have a chance of winning the championship.
Right.
I mean, so I guess the argument is what, like Texas, but I mean, Texas has more options at pitcher right now than Oklahoma does. I don't know, and I think you're playing for a better coach with Patty. Like it's just
yeah.
To me,
Oklahoma
it doesn't
State
make sense.
Oklahoma State
maybe.
could make the case, but they just added a pitcher, I'm pretty sure, in the portal. But
But I
go ahead,
agree.
Mark.
I agree with Gann that this is a must get. I think there's like not many other pitchers in the portal, so I just don't. There's not
Not
other
even
options.
close.
So that's the main thing. But I just want to poke at one thing that Ryan said. Is the implication there that an Oklahoma education is not
Yes, compared to a
As a
Stanford education.
robust as a
I'm gonna
Stanford
say
education,
yes.
brother.
Joseph Harrows will tell you you're wrong.
I'm
Would
so sorry.
flat disagree
As
with you,
me, as
sir.
a who has 2 degrees from the University of Oklahoma, which I love to death. No, it is not the same as a Stanford
brag.
education.
Wow.
You know.
Humble brag. I'll say to maximize the rest of her softball career, this is the right move for her because Stanford, she didn't have enough help. She didn't have enough offense to get her over the hump. So NIL is going to take care of her. Sure, the education is there's going to be a disparity there. We don't have to argue too much about that. But she wants to
But we could.
maximize the rest of her softball career. This is the move. In the age of NIL, when you get these types of opportunities, when you are a star elite athlete, going to the portal is just such a normal thing to do. And hopefully she ends up in the right place, which is going to be in Norman, Oklahoma, if she wants to go for a 5th straight. Let's get it.
Absolutely. Sorry, I got a text and I spaced out. Anybody, anything else to add on the Circle of the Wagons? Okay.
I like Matt's point that like everyone should just come to Oklahoma to maximize their career. This is
Love
the
it.
best place.
Yeah.
It's right.
I
We're
agree.
we're all waiting for that tweet from Patty that says "Go Boomer" with the bombs and
Well,
the
and
O's,
and Patty just
then
needs
we
to-
know it's
yeah.
on.
Patty just needs to tell her, look, you're not coming here to play school. So if you're
Play school.
yeah, if you're here for the education,
Coming to play
like,
ball.
yeah, like that, who cares? Like,
It's like
not
we'll
me.
take care of you on the school front. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah, don't worry
It'll
about
be
it.
a lot easier than
Yeah.
Stanford.
All right, some NBA talk before we move on to the MVP.
Oh yeah.
Real quick, because I said we'd get to it. We'll start first things first with JJ Redick. Reportedly, Woj saying reportedly agreeing to terms with the Lakers on a 4-year deal. I believe that's
That's
what
what I
is reported. LeBron gets his guy. How do we feel about it? I think it lasts a year and a half. That's what I think.
I mean, I like JJ.
I don't have a problem with JJ.
Like I think he's pretty smart. I think the system there is problematic with LeBron because he's the general manager, coach, everything of that team, and nothing is actually going to be. I mean, they won that championship in the bubble, but like it's just not a successful. I don't think it's a successful pairing of ingredients when it comes to all of those things. So I don't know if anybody can be successful in that position right now.
I don't think so either. I mean, that like LeBron hires his guy all the time. That's all it is. LeBron has to sign off on everybody who's hired. And what happens? The same thing. He runs them out of town, or they don't perform the way that they should in a year and a half, 2 years.
Oh,
and then they're
because they
gone.
probably don't have full control. Like they should.
So
have full control.
I don't care how he feels about JJ Redick. Like JJ Redick could be a fantastic, amazing coach. I don't think it's going to matter. I just don't. I don't see how it works. Honestly.
The Lakers aren't good enough for this to matter, but maybe they make the play-in again.
Yeah. Matt Pat.
It's just so crazy though, because he has no experience of any kind.
Oh
I
no.
was
no.
just looking him
No,
up.
he's a
whatsoever.
podcaster.
You know how many assistant
He's
coaches
not
are
just
out
a
there
podcaster.
grinding every freaking day. You're right. He's somewhere between podcaster and ready for the job, right?
Mhm.
But there are a lot more guys who are
Same.
a lot closer to ready for the job than podcaster.
Mhm.
Mark, who
I
would
just-
you have liked the Lakers to hire? Just like Monty
Me,
Williams
if we're
now that
doing
they
this.
just now that Pistons bought him out.
Connor Williams
I
just
would've-
making bank and like
Dude.
not
I would've-
working.
I would
That's
have
great.
loved to take on that money and then get fired probably about a year and a half in, like Patrick said. It's clockwork. To answer your question for real, I'm not really sure. I'm not plugged into NBA coaching circles quite like that. I think you could probably go steal the Jazz head coach if you wanted to. And that was someone that they took off of the Celtics bench. I don't remember his name, but moved over with Danny Ainge
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Will something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yeah, you could probably go take someone, but someone closer to ready than JJ Redick, I think, pretty safely.
Haven't they done this before though? Like not a lot of coaching experience at Lakers. I just feel like it's what is the risk in having JJ Redick
I mean,
come
if
on
you want to splash,
when you
though,
have LeBron
take-
and AD?
I guess it's a good point because, like, what you know, what just let LeBron coach the team. That's what this is.
what
they're
Bill
gonna
Russell
get
did.
wine at night and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Bill-
the NBA is I feel like mainly a players' league. Like a good coach definitely matters, but when you have LeBron and AD, like how much coaching are you actually really doing? I mean, I can be completely wrong. I'm just saying you just let LeBron run the team. I would think for the most part. I feel like he already is, anyways. So I, feel
I
like there's
just
no
think I
lose
just think
lose.
it's so set up for failure because they're gonna draft LeBron's son, and they're gonna make him play him,
it's probably
and-
in the
and
contract.
he's not good enough.
You will draft
He's
Bronny.
just not good enough, and it's gonna rub those dudes the wrong way, and that locker room's gonna turn real quick from I get to play with LeBron to be like, my minutes are getting taken by who? Nah, that I
Good
just
point, Mason.
I just
Great
don't,
point.
I don't see how it works. I just don't. Which, I mean, fine. I don't want the Lakers to win any more championships anyway, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah, because they might
I'd be
catch
fine
you.
if the Rockets didn't use number 3, but they drafted Bronny at any other pick. I would be fine with that because let's just see what happens. Roll the dice. The odds are good
sure.
that other guy's not going to be good anyway.
Sure.
Let's see if you can go get Braun on like a mid level.
Yeah.
because he wants that experience.
Yep.
To Gan, to your question, I'm still waiting for someone to take Becky Hammon. I'm really hoping they don't because I want her for the Spurs. But I'm waiting because I feel like
That's
that's a
gonna happen.
splash. Like that's a splash. Like that's a 2020s.
I don't know if I see her
Flash.
leaving. She's the coach
Is
for
it
the Aces. I don't think she's leaving. That's
they're
the most
having a
valuable.
bad. They're having a bad.
Yeah, but they're
year
the most
this year.
valuable franchise in the WNBA. I don't think she's
Matt, the
leaving.
league loses money. Don't talk to me about valuable. The league is hemorrhaging money every year.
Maybe not this year. Maybe not this year.
I will bet you they still are.
I don't
think
know.
the
I don't know
Caitlin
what their
Clark
finances
effect is
look
definitely
this year,
having
but
an
I think it's
impact.
How many
helping.
WNBA games have you watched this year?
0.
Okay, there you go. There's
But like,
it's as
there's-
popular as it's ever been, and you've watched 0.
But
That's
like
what I'm
the
saying.
Dallas, I saw
Like-
the Dallas WNBA team like sold out all their season tickets this year.
That's,
Like,
that's
there's
awesome.
there's more things that are happening this year specifically.
Caitlin Clark
and
effect,
That's
for sure.
awesome. Dallas,
Like-
the Wings play in like an abandoned parking lot, don't they?
I
So
think
what? They got to
so.
sell 500.
No, I looked at my wife the other day. I was like, "Where did they play?" And she was like, "I have no idea." So like, I don't know where the Dallas team plays.
They're
I don't know
looking
where
to
it is.
move to AAC, I believe, but they're not there.
Move to
playing
what?
right now? Move to AAC where the
Got it.
Mavs and
Oh.
Stars play. Well, they don't play there now, but that's what they're looking to do eventually.
Gotcha.
Who knows?
So,
There is
Anyway.
no way in this year or any other that the WNBA has been in the black. I'm
No.
sorry. I wish it was the case, but
I know.
like it's just not.
I wish it
happening,
was too.
you know?
They have great
Yeah.
stars.
If it was happening, those kids, those guys, ladies would be paid better,
and they're not.
They're tragically not for how
No.
talented
The
they're
question
not.
was, would
How
Becky
good they
Hammond
are.
leave? I mean, maybe.
Yes.
I don't see her
Yes.
leaving the Aces unless she got
Yes.
offered.
Matt,
No,
they're
I think-
gonna
I think-
they're
Prime
going
head
to
coaching
they're going
position.
to 10 times her salary she's making now. Yeah.
Hey,
She's gonna
I'm just hoping it's with the Spurs, baby. She's got a lot of history there. She was great for us. When
Cool.
Pop's ready to hang it up, that's our girl.
they'll
or if
pay
she'd
whoever.
entertain women's basketball or college basketball.
That's
She can get
that's
paid
fair as well.
there.
Kim Mulkey
Yeah.
makes good
More
money.
money there.
Mm-hmm.
Kim Mulkey makes good money. That's for sure. Josh Giddey traded to Chicago for Alex Caruso. Matt, how
Straight
do you
up,
feel?
a fleecing.
I mean, Sam Presti, he's a demon. He does it again. A straight up trade with no draft compensation when I believe it was either last season or the season before, the Bulls were asking for like 2 first-round picks for this guy. So for a 2-time all NBA defender to swap positions, who's a 40% 3-point shooter last season, plays a great role player that can really fit into any system. And just 7 years ago, he was playing under Mike Dagnall in the Oklahoma City Blue. So what better of a fit? They've been going after him for a while. Really like the trade. We absolutely fleeced Chicago. And I think this is only a domino because this is not the one piece that's going to make Oklahoma City a contending for a championship. They've got to get big. They've got to find a big either in the draft or through a trade piece. I don't think they're going to get through free agency based on the cap space, but great move by them to start off the NBA free agent season. I love the move by them. This team is going to be very hard to defend. Alex Caruso was the number 2 best defender in the half court last season. Number 1, Lou Dort. So it's going to be a freaking nightmare trying to play offense against this team next season.
Is there a more proud franchise that just puts in less effort than the Chicago Bulls? I feel like they just don't even try anymore. And it's sad to see. It's brutal. Like who's the comparison in the NFL? Like if the 49ers just stop trying.
If you take
The
away
Texans
this
with Bill
past year,
O'Brien.
I would have said the Chicago Bears. So same city.
Yeah,
I feel like they're doing something now.
The Bears
I feel like they're
don't-
like
yeah,
they're doing something now, but the past
Yeah.
10 years.
yeah, it's bad. I don't get it. Should not be hard for Chicago to be a good basketball team. I don't know why it is, but whatever. I don't care. Anything else on the Thunder? Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, little mini LVP for me as a result of all this. I'll have another MVP later, but LVP on the whole from the trade, Josh Giddey goes from a 16 years old age of consent in Oklahoma to 17 in Illinois.
Tough.
That's a tough one. Zach Levine, keep the family away. Kobe White, keep the family away.
Goodness gracious.
Billy Donovan,
Yeah,
keep the family away. So tough one for Josh Giddey.
certified shooting guard, certified pedophile is what I
Oh
hear.
my God.
Is what I hear.
That's fantastic.
Just saying. All right. Boston Celtics are your 2024 NBA champions. Just one more time for the
Is that
kids.
your MVP? Is that what you're?
Yeah,
is
it's
that where you're
we'll
going with
just
this?
transition. This is my MVP. We'll just transition. This is my MVP. Boston Celtics, banner 18. Got to watch with my little brother. It was sick. Got to watch with my little sister as well, with my wife. Celebrated. It
My
was
wife.
awesome. The shout out Jalen and Jason. They were fantastic. Jalen Brown, a deserved MVP. I think you can easily make the case for Jason Tatum leading his team in all 3 categories: points, rebounds, and assists. But I'm not mad either way. The media tries to divide us, and they can't. Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum forever. Jason Tatum is about to get paid in probably the next couple weeks, so he'll be locked up and staying in Boston for a long time with Jalen Brown. They're going to try to pay Derek White as well. Al Horford coming back for another year. Kristaps Porzingis for another year. Drew Holiday for another year. Bringing the whole band back together. Let's try to run it back. Banner 19 coming next year. Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Love it.
I can go next. My
Yeah.
MVP related to I think something Mason just said right before
The
he-
Boston Celtics. I completely agree.
No.
Al
Kendrick
Horford.
Lamar for doing a pop-up concert in LA the other day and kind of taking over Twitter and also playing Not Like Us 5 times in a row and just like burying Drake even further down into like the crypts. And I love a good beef. It doesn't even need to be a rap beef, just a beef in general between famous people is a lot of fun when you can just sit on the sidelines and watch it happen. And this one's intense because Kendrick Lamar is petty and I love it. And he's winning this. So Kendrick Lamar.
Really happy for you.
Team Taylor.
Happy
What
for
did he
you.
say? What did Pat say?
Matt just said happy for you.
Oh,
I saw
Pat-
a tweet that was Russell Westbrook dancing on stage while Kendrick was performing, and somebody said Russell doesn't look this happy playing basketball. What the?
Yeah. Did you see the ones that were also tied to that where LeBron and his wife were there and
Oh,
his
yeah.
wife like grabs him and the thing is like, no, you're not going up on the stage or
Yeah.
something like that.
LeBron's the fakest dude ever. He's the fakest dude. That dude loves Drake.
He
That dude loves Drake. And he's
Loves
freaking
Drake.
there
And he's
bopping
just
along.
bopping along.
Like you're such a clout chaser. It's so annoying. Like you're the most famous person in the world. Why are you like this? Just be LeBron, be like freaking Cristiano Ronaldo and not give a crap about anybody. Just like do your own thing. But no, you try to be like this cool guy and it's cringy. I hate it. It's so weird. So
Good
weird.
points.
Sorry. Mark, who's your MVP?
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, I'll go next. I've got Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson.
Love that guy.
The
Good one.
former
Good one.
Oklahoma Sooner gets paid 4 years, $36 million with $17 million guaranteed.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Very
Ties him-
underrated. Very
ties him
underrated.
to the team for at least 2 more seasons, hopefully longer than that. He's about 2,000 yards off from becoming the Patriots' all-time leading rusher. And
It's nuts.
if he's here for the length of the contract, it's very possible that he ends his Patriots career as that. So agreed with you, Matt. An underrated, very effective player, and hopefully in the hands of a new offense, he will be even better moving forward for the Patriots. So shout out to the once and always Oklahoma Sooner. Be more careful with your drug test, big guy, Ramondre Stevenson.
We
Oh, yeah,
definitely-
flew under the radar at OU. Great pickup for the Patriots.
Great back.
Great back.
Patrick?
Oh yeah, we would have
Patrick?
made the playoffs if Stevenson wasn't suspended for 4 games.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, I've got the German national soccer team. They've played the best out of any team thus far in the Euros. Maybe Spain, you could argue,
Yeah, Spain for sure.
but
They played Italy
Matt,
today, right?
shut up.
yeah, they beat
You know-
Italy, but it was an own goal. It was so
Yeah.
They earned it, though.
But Germany hasn't played that high level of an opponent yet. I think Germany's going to win the Euros. That's my MVP.
Well, it's in Germany this year, so you
Right.
know, got to.
Matt, do you know the last home country to win the Euros?
No.
Just Gan?
France
Is it
in
Germany?
1994.
Oh yeah.
Not 94 or 96. One
No,
of those years. France was last
94 Germany won the World Cup, so it must have been 96.
one. Okay, 96 France. Last home country to win the Euros.
Sorry, no. 94 wasn't Germany. I think it was France, but it was 94.
One of
the
those
World
2
Cup
years. One of those 2 years.
Gotcha.
Been a while. Been a while.
My
All right, I
favorite
guess-
thing about Euros, hold on real quick, is
Yeah, go ahead.
is
Go
that
ahead.
I follow a lot of like English soccer people, and England obviously is playing, and like they were the favorites to win, and they drew against
Denmark.
Denmark?
Denmark.
Right?
Denmark today.
Oh
The
my
Danish
god!
was
And,
tough.
and the English fans are freaking out. It's so funny,
This
But
was
it's gonna
supposed to
play
be
so
their
funny.
year.
dude. They're just spiraling.
They
It's
are.
hilarious.
My
It's so
brother's
funny.
team England, and I'm like, yo, you got to go for Germany.
Yeah, you got to be
Right.
Germany.
You have to. It's all
I-
about Germany.
By
this
the way,
year.
if you're listening to this podcast and you're not a German national soccer team fan for the
You better
Euros,
become one.
what are you doing?
What are you
Like
doing?
we got to be all in.
España. España. It's my
Man,
heart.
We're not
the
even saying it
biggest
right.
friend. You're the
It's
biggest
okay.
friend.
It's
That's
Benya.
incredible.
Matt's saying something wrong. Wow,
He's
couldn't
saying
imagine.
something wrong.
Couldn't imagine.
All
He
right,
said
the Spanish
Cortel
people.
Mills earlier.
The Spanish people do
could've
not
got him
accept
all.
you.
He did,
If you're
Mark.
gonna
He
say
did,
this-
Mark.
Yeah.
He did. Say it again, Mark. Say what he called him.
He said Matt said Cortel Mills earlier. And he was making great
Say
points, so I
Cortez.
can't cut him off. But come on, man.
Go, man.
Oh man!
You-
Don't even get an MVP. I'll give you one anyways. I'm
Yeah.
I'm going back to what I mentioned earlier. Monty Williams.
Hooked
Listen,
on phonics. Sorry,
yeah,
go
Monty
ahead.
Williams timeline right here. 2023 gets fired by the Phoenix Suns, securing a $20 million buyout. That June, he gets hired by the Detroit Pistons, gets the richest or get one of the richest contracts at the time, 6 years, $78 million. This June gets fired, secures a $65 million buyout. $85 million in buyouts. Do you even have to coach again? I mean,
No,
my goodness gracious.
don't.
And this guy
No.
started from the Oklahoma City bench, worked his way up. I hope he comes back as an assistant. I would love to have him. But man, getting paid the dough not to do anything, man, 80 plus million in buyouts. That is freaking nuts. That's crazy. Monty Williams, MVP for making that back.
Securing the bag. And with that, that's going to do it. Episode 127 is in the books. Be sure to like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all of our social media
Cortel.
at Program Guys with a Z. Matt, how do you say Spain again? How do you say Spain again?
España!
Spenya.
Yeah, you're the worst.
Ugh.
Real fast. Who's that wide receiver?
Matt, who's the wide receiver?
Cortel.
Cordell.
Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Spenya.
all of that good stuff.
Ridiculous.
We will see you all next week. Pat, take us out, man.
Keep pushing it, baby.
We